Hello everyone, I'm Thea Biesheuvel, living in Brisbane, Australia, although I was born in the Netherlands and grew up there, coming out to Australia in 1953 with my siblings and my parents. English is therefore not my first language. My school-age memories are therefore in Dutch. My school-age songs and favourite poems are in Dutch, but my children and grandchildren are thoroughly Australian. The poem I'm about to read to you arose out of the hymn composed by Martin Luther when he broke away from the Latin Mass. It's called the Reformation Hymn, and because it reminds me so much of my mother, I decided to write this Reformation poem about her primarily and my memories of those school days. So I'll read to you the Reformation, okay, although the title I've given it is just Reformation. A mighty fortress in her chair, my mother sits, exists. Within her room, her square, she chats about her skin, her hair, the home she missed when this became her unit. Her unitary state approved, though she's the keystone of our ark, could never be extracted. She's removed, the solitary matriarch. The strength comes from within, her base, our family tree of old, possession still of her antiques, kind face, a stubborn faith, foreign Dutch place, some chairs, bed-end papers with mould, piled up where they might fit. Things not for use, or not for her. A stack of memories, an image, a way things never were, while she was still that personage. Her children's kids provide a cause of satisfaction or disdain. Their gifts are like a cookie, the silent pause when they don't come, the source of casual pleasure or deep pain. Though this she won't admit. Her photos serve as proof complete that once she had once a life, a house, real bricks and mortar in a street, was once a valued wife. As chaff before the breeze she's blown, away from usefulness and roots. Her house pulled down, the children grown, walled off from life, she sits alone. Her memories, her servants, idly puts another bouquet near the bedside phone. Between the present and those gone, she flits. A mighty fortress once, now just a ruin. The ancient landscape of her life befits the castle of a queen deposed too soon.
Hi everyone, I'm Hayley Ann Solomon, coming to you from the South Island of a very beautiful New Zealand, and I'm going to be reading one of my poems in the International Proverse Poetry Prize Anthology, Mingled Voices 3. It's entitled, There Never Was Nothing. There never was nothing, only a long loneliness, the heavens breathed frost, blanketing everything in a darkness too dull to breathe. For eons, not a sound, and not an echo of a sound, relieved the loneliness. Then Muriranga Whenua, the grandmother, looks to the stars. She sees a canvas of black, dotted with light, 1,000 jewels in the blanket of night. There's a collision of reds and greens, whites and pearls, pale and bright, flame and flicker, hotter, colder, further, nearer than ever she, in all of her ancient greatness, can ever conceive. When she closes her eyes for the long sleep, the fabric of her mind pieces patterns, koru, unfurling infinitely slowly, the drip, drip, drip of stalactites or roots of rata stealthily reaching the forest floor. A flash of red, rata rising to the sky in bold blossoming gladness, Pohutakawa blushing, Rimu forever caressed to submission, subsumed by rata. and the forests dance. They dance with life as the patterns form swiftly, the crash and curl of water, the carving of mountains with blades of ice. The rush, the ready rush of water to sea, this curling krill, the soaking sponges, the fingers of coral that brighten immense volumes of darkness. Unimaginable are the pressures, the light of the heavens and the far depths where no creature lives. Gravity and anti-gravity, matter and antimatter, and the tiny, beautiful moments that matter most. Muriranga Whenua blesses all this as her refuge. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Elena Blanco, a Cuban poet. I am greeting you all from Chile on the southern hemisphere, where it is now winter in August, though sunny. I would like to read for you my poem on reading Baudelaire in the air after a poet's burial, which is included in the Proverse Mingled Voices 3 Anthology and is dedicated to the memory of Austrian poet Gerhard Kofler, who was a good friend of mine, deceased in 2005, and whose poetry I translated from German and Italian into Spanish. He and I were admirers of the great 19th century poet from France, Charles Baudelaire, whose poetry I have also translated from the French. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of this poem, I cited a verse from Baudelaire's Flowers of Evil, poem Le Voyage, which says, Au fond de l'inconnu, pour trouver du nouveau. On reading Baudelaire in the air after a poet's burial. They must have told you it was bitter cold. Indeed, they must have mentioned the black cloud and the sudden hailstorm at the very moment when your coffin was lowered, while the poet Schindel recited the Kaddish after the duly prescribed Catholic requiem and a couple of profane invocations. At that point, we were 100 mortals seized with chills, wishing to flee or join you in your grave. The latter was out of the question, since I flew to New York the next day. Once in the air, I felt us somehow closer and proceeded to work on my Spanish translation of The Flowers of Evil. Though I was in the middle of one of the sonnets inspired by the voluptuous Jeanne Duval, my mind wandered away to those ominous mysteries children perceive with awe, death and love, for their subliminal imprint on the senses and affections. But their other side, the one which we awkwardly try to apprehend while living, eludes us. And you already know it, like God. But tell me then, the absolute unknown, the enigmatic nouveau, what good is it to you, Kofler, if you're no longer able to pour it into a poem or a kiss? What is the use? Does language exist among the dead? But pardon my presumption to delve into the abyss that divides us. Return to your translation. The next one is The Voyage.
I am a hospice volunteer and singer in a local hospice singing group. Our small group sings at the bedside for those nearing the end of life and their families. This poem is a tribute to the volunteers who minister to the dying with their unconditional presence and love. Their generosity of time and spirit is what I experience as holiness and grace made plain. Psalm 23, Hospice Volunteer. You move through this realm of not quite reality, not quite illusion, a song of praise from the shepherd saying, "You shall not want." to those on the journey, and to those of us left on the shore, our flock, grazing green pastures to the edge. In still waters you wash the feet of those about to enter the valley of mystery, where there are no shoes. You remind us of the table still set before us, our cup overflowing gratitude, the restless soul seeking mercy, comfort. In the shadow of the valley of fear, long named as evil, your sweet song transforms darkness into twilight. You sing the blessings. Your presence anoints the paths of righteousness. Can there be a more graceful gift than to shine light in the darkest of corners, to bless what has been and be born into what always is, a lesson for living in the house of the Lord forever. And I am grateful you restore my soul.